You are sitting in a room with your friends. The lighting is warm. The music is playing. You can feel the texture of the chair beneath you. You are smiling. You are laughing at the right moments. But there is a secret, quiet distance between you and the room. It feels like there is a thick pane of glass positioned just behind your eyes. You aren't fully inhabiting your body. You are hovering slightly above it, or tucked deep inside the back of your skull, watching the scene unfold like a movie. You are narrating the moment in your head while it is happening. You think, this is a nice moment, instead of simply feeling nice. You think, I'm having a conversation, instead of simply speaking. You have become the director of your own life, but you have forgotten to be the main character. You are safe. You are analytical. You are perfectly in control, but you are also completely, devastatingly numb. This is the psychology of the observer, the person who watches life instead of living it. Psychologists refer to this sensation as depersonalization or but those are clinical terms, and they don't quite capture the texture of the experience. To you, it feels like reality is thin. It feels like the volume of the world has been turned down. Colors seem less vibrant, as if viewed through an old monitor. Conversations feel scripted, as if everyone else was given lines that you are just now hearing for the first time. When you look in the mirror, there is a split-second delay, a lag, before you recognize that the person staring back is actually you. You see the features, you know the name, but you don't feel the connection. You are looking at an avatar, a vessel, a character that you are piloting, rather than a self that you are. This separation creates a strange, hollow echo in your life. You move through your days with a running commentary. When you are heartbroken, a part of you is analyzing the heartbreak, taking notes on the physical sensation of the pain, perhaps even drafting the way you will describe this later in a journal or to a therapist. You are never fully in the feeling because you are too busy studying it. You have turned your life into a documentary, and you've locked yourself in the editing room. Why do we do this? Why do we voluntarily retreat from the front lines of our own existence? It is almost always a survival strategy. It is a defense mechanism born from a need for safety. At some point in your history, reality became too sharp to touch. Perhaps you experienced trauma where you couldn't escape physically, so you learned to escape mentally. Perhaps you grew up in a chaotic environment where emotions were volatile and dangerous, so you learned that feeling was a liability. Or perhaps you were simply a sensitive child in an overwhelming world, and you realized that the only way to endure the noise was to turn down the input. So, your brain pulled the rip. It learned to disconnect. It learned that if you step back and view the situation as a scene in a movie, it hurts less. If you treat your emotions as data points rather than visceral experiences, they cannot overwhelm you. The observer role is a bunker. It promises safety. It whispers to you, if I am just watching, I cannot be hurt. If I am the narrator, I am not the victim. And it is true. Ghosts cannot bleed, but the tragedy is that ghosts also cannot feel the warmth of the sun. In prioritizing safety, you have sacrificed vitality. The primary tool of the observer is something called intellectualization. This is the act of thinking about a feeling to avoid feeling the feeling. You are likely a very self-aware person. You are probably the friend who gives the best advice. You can deconstruct your behaviors with clinical precision. You know exactly why you are anxious. You can trace your attachment style back to your childhood. You can map out your trauma responses on a whiteboard, but understanding your pain is not the same as healing it. You have fallen into the trap of mistaking the map for the territory. You have spent years studying the map of the forest, memorizing the topography, the elevation, the path, but you have never actually walked into the woods. You think that if you can just find the perfect words to describe your sadness, the sadness will go away. You treat your emotions like riddles to be solved. You think, if I analyze this enough, I will figure it out, and then I will be done with it. But emotions are not math problems. They are not riddles. They are energy, and energy needs to move. You are standing in the pouring rain, perfectly describing the chemical composition of water, explaining the cycle of precipitation, while refusing to admit that you are wet. Because you are watching yourself from the outside, social interaction becomes a performance. You are not hanging out. You are performing the act of hanging out. You are constantly monitoring your own behavior. Am I making enough eye contact? Was that laugh too loud? Is this what a relaxed person looks like? This is the curse of the observer, the loss of the flow state. Flow is that magical, unthinking zone where you lose yourself in an activity or a person. It is the absence of self-consciousness, but you are terrified of losing yourself, because losing yourself feels like losing control. So you curate, you edit, you script, you become an expert at pretending to be present. Your friends might not even notice. They see you nodding, they hear you responding, but you know the truth. You know that you are managing the interaction like a PR crisis manager, ensuring that the avatar on the outside is functioning correctly while the pilot on the inside is asleep at the wheel. And this is exhausting. It is why you come home from social events feeling drained to your core. You haven't just been socializing, you have been acting. When you are watching life instead of living it, you often develop an obsession with archiving. Since you don't feel fully present in the moment, you become terrified of losing the moment. You feel like time is slipping through your fingers like water. So, you try to freeze it. You might take obsessive photos of things you aren't really looking at. You might keep detailed journals, recording facts to prove you were there. You might hoard digital memories, tickets, screenshots. You are trying to build evidence that you are alive. You are so busy framing the shot that you miss the sunset. You are so busy thinking about the caption that you miss the joke. You are building a museum of a life that no one ever actually lived. You are surrounded by artifacts of memories that you were physically present for, but spiritually absent from. You have the photo, but you don't have the feeling that belonged to it. You are the curator of your own empty house. So, how do you stop watching? How do you break the fourth wall? Step out of the audience and onto the stage. You must stop trying to solve your life and start trying to sense it. The observer lives in the mind. The main character lives in the body. To come back to life, you have to descend from the tower of your intellect and re-enter the fortress of your physical form. This means prioritizing sensation over thoughts. It means grounding. When you drink coffee, don't think about the caffeine or what you have to do next. Force your attention to the heat on your tongue, the bitterness, the specific texture of the liquid. When you listen to music, close your eyes. Stop analyzing the lyrics or the production. Let the bass vibration hit your chest. When you are sad, stop narrating the sadness. Stop telling yourself the story of why you are sad. Drop the storyline Just cry. Feel the heat in your throat, the shaking in your chest. This will feel incredibly dangerous. The bunker was quiet. The world is loud. Without the glass wall, reality will feel abrasive. It will be too bright, too sharp, too intense. You will feel exposed. But that exposure is the price of admission. The observer believes that the point of life is to understand it, to categorize it, to master it. But the point of life is to experience it. You do not need to have a take on everything. You do not need to turn every moment into a lesson or a story. You are allowed to be a messy, unscripted, unedited human being. You have spent enough time in the audience. You have watched the movie of your life for long enough, critiquing the plot, judging the character, waiting for the climax. But there is no movie. There is only this breath, and then the next one. Put down the camera. Turn off the commentary track. Step out of the editing room. The screen is going dark. It is time to let the credits roll so the real life can finally begin.